Mike had so many bruises all over his body. His girlfriend also had bruises all over her body. When the doctor asked him what he felt, he said, "I feel like a vampire." They had both been sucking blood off of each
It's spit everywhere. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Keith vs. Star. And of course, we have another reaction. This one's title is Craziest ER Episodes You Can Never Unsee. Just craziness. And I'm here for all of it. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please leave us a comment if you would like. And here we go.
Show him my stuff. Give that man everything I got.
Pause. But that's what, okay.
to feed their kids with tapeworms to real zombies and vampires who drink from humans, TLC has some of the most bizarre shows on Earth. We share with you the craziest, unbelievable, and most ridiculous scenes to ever feature on the channel. Right before we begin, tap the subscribe button for more of this content.
Really?
10. Pageant ready. There are crazy people in this world, and then there's Taffy's mom. She brought her daughter to the ER after she was complaining about a stomachache. Her mother was so dramatic, shouting all over the place and demanding for medical help. The nurses were horrified by the drastic reaction and just wanted to treat the girl and have her leave. When the nurses couldn't figure out exactly what was going on, she started shouting and causing a scene until a cute male nurse appeared. The woman shamelessly started flirting with the young man while her daughter was right there, writhing in pain.
Wow.
He decided to get an ultrasound to check the girl's tummy, but they couldn't find anything, so they had to use a CT scan. It didn't show a baby, but it did show there was something inside her intestines. Taffy went to use the bathroom but didn't come out. She locked herself in and started screaming. Everyone rushed to see what was going on, and they had to use a master key to break in. When they finally opened the door, they were faced with the most disgusting thing they had ever seen in their lives. A bowl full of tapeworms. The mom started apologizing, saying, "I'm so sorry, honey. It was only meant to make you look skinnier." And everyone was in shock. Apparently, the mom had fed her daughter tapeworm eggs to make her lose weight to get into a pageant. The award for Mom of the Year definitely goes to her. This has to be the craziest thing this hospital has ever witnessed. Get ready to be completely
She
shocked.
had to go to
9.
jail, right?
Save the sharks.
I would
Everyone in this
hope.
hospital thought it was April Fool's Day when a patient came into the hospital with a shark still attached to his hip. He came in a floater-like thing full of bloody water, and the shark was still very much alive, biting into his thigh. This was no ordinary shark attack. The patient wanted to save both his life and the shark's life. He even told the doctors not to give him painkillers yet, as the medicine would seep into the shark's system and affect him. So the doctors and nurses had to figure out real quick. They had no time left, as the young man would have gotten into shock and died at any point. So one had to apply pressure, and the doctor had to try to open the shark's teeth so it would let go. Whatever they did didn't work. The man wasn't even worried that he was losing so much blood. He was more concerned with ensuring the shark had enough salty water. He passes out shortly after. Gladly, the conservationist shows up, but nothing they try works. Just when they were about to give up, the patient gets up in shock and yanks the shark off his leg. It goes flying onto the floor, and the conservationists rush to save its life. It was as if there was now 2 patients in the room, but one wasn't human. Glad they both.
You telling me you wanna watch?
That is the whitest shit I have ever seen in my fucking life.
I'm gonna die so the shark can live. Don't give me no pain meds. It might affect the shark.
Why don't you stay the fuck out the shark house? When y'all gonna learn that shit? Stay out their house. That ain't your house, man. That water, all that shit where they live at, that's for them. That ain't for you. If you wasn't there in the first place, he wouldn't have bitch your goofy ass. This nigga here, man.
But why? See, my thing is this. Like, even if you wanted the shark to live, like when you get bit in the water, why not just yank him off in the water?
Cause he white.
Like, man, I would have sliced. What a knife at. I'm slicing this thing and like I'm not about to be traveling with a shark attached to my leg. Like,
both made it. 8. Real life zombie. It's Halloween, and this zombie was dropped off by 2 friends who have no idea what's wrong with him. While doctors are trying to solve the case, things go from bad to worse for the patient. Whenever the doctor would lift up one of his arms, the other would simultaneously go up. The zombie wouldn't respond to any questions and had this blank face on. Out of the blue, he gets up and out of nowhere tries to attack the doctor.
What?
They manage to calm him down, change his clothes, and remove his crazy contacts. An hour and a half later, and none of his symptoms match any disease pattern. Finally, one of his friends who brought him in shared some information about what was going on. Apparently, he was pretty sick from a cough before he went to the party. Being really blind, he must have taken more than the recommended dose of his cough syrup.
Oh,
This was
he's
the
really
reason why he
blind.
was acting the way he was. With that information, they managed to get the zombie back to life. Tap the like button if you didn't know cough syrup could turn you into a zombie. More zombies coming up. This one happens to be a real one. Grab some popcorn for this. 7.
kind of
Came
cough
back to
syrup
life.
was that?
Dr. Myers was
You want
forced to
some?
share information.
Hell no.
You sure?
I'm sure.
I'll go get you some.
I'm
You gonna
good.
bite some? Ain't something.
That no doctor ever wants to share. At this point, there was nothing else left to do. They couldn't save Mia's mom, and he had to deliver the news to her. It was one of the hardest things he has ever had to do. There's nothing quite as hard as sharing this news. She got into denial and started sobbing right after. Mia asked to see her mom, and it was the most heartbreaking scene. Dr. Myers had to leave her to grieve alone and was forced to tend to another patient. A few minutes later, a nurse came rushing to the desk, looking like a trapped deer. The news he gave him shook him to the core. "I don't think she is dead." With those words, they rushed to the patient and confirmed she was indeed alive. She was dead according to all medical criteria, so how was this even possible? The patient had suffered from a collapsed lung, and they had to act fast so that she didn't die again, this time for real. She revived and got back to normal, but was still completely unresponsive. The doctor thought she would die soon or be in a permanent vegetative state. Miraculously, after 3 weeks, she came back to life fully and was back to 100% normalcy. This to him was a miracle that went against all medical laws. Miracles do happen, especially in the ER.
Dog, that nigga
6.
just didn't do
Another
his
case
job
of coming back
correctly.
to
That's
life.
what happened.
Emily had been staying at her friend's house for the past few days before she was brought to the ER. She was unresponsive and sort of acted like a zombie. When doctors examined her, they found she was hypothermic, which means her body temperature was too low, close to a dead person's. When she was asked by the doctor if she had consumed any food or water in the past 24 hours, she responded by saying, "I don't need to eat. I am already dead." The doctor was shocked.
Girl,
Never in his
take
years of
your
practice
ass home.
had he ever heard a patient tell him that she is dead.
That bitch said, "I don't need no water. I'm dead inside." That bitch said,
No, go through it.
that bitch said, "If he dies, he dies."
And then they reenacted it so good. Because the doctor asked when the last time she ate. She laying on the bed, open her eyes. "I don't need to eat. I'm already dead." Then close her eyes back. I'm like, bitch, go get her discharge papers. Take her. No. Call her a cab. Send her back home.
Give her some crackers
Man.
and an orange juice.
already
Bitch
dead.
out my ER.
That's just weird.
She wanted to leave the hospital. Being 18 years of age, she had the right to decide, so he made a deal with her that she would have a meal and he would discharge her. The patient was going through a mental disorder referred to as Cotard delusion, or walking corpse syndrome, so he gave her dad a
I swear to God, they will make any fucking thing a fucking disease.
Everything got a name.
Walking corpse syndrome.
I ain't never heard of that one. That's it.
I think I'm dead. That's worse than transracial.
I don't need to eat or drink. I'm already dead.
contact of the best psychiatrist he knew. This syndrome was so serious that it caused people to jump off buildings thinking they wouldn't get hurt as they believed they are already deceased. He had a feeling the poor girl would be back at the hospital, but he kept his hopes up that the psychiatrist would help. Soon after a week, she was back. She bumped into the emergency room where she was being treated, but unfortunately, she flatlined. Seeing this, the doctor jumped into action. He still believed he could save the poor girl's life despite already being classified to be dead by another doctor. A miracle happened. She came back to life. She was discharged from the hospital the next day. Emily was still at risk due to her medical condition and would end up in the ER again. Well, she was back, but this time she looked so healthy, vibrant, and more alive. The shrink had helped her. Two vampires showed up at the hospital. One is fatally ill, and the other is scary. Will the doctors run or save his life? Find out next. 5. A vampire show at the hospital. First of all, Mike had so many bruises all over his body. His girlfriend also had bruises all over her body. When the doctor asked him what he felt, he said, "I feel like a vampire." They had both been sucking blood off of each
Just spit everywhere.
That nigga said,
So how are you feeling,
I
son?
feel like a vampire.
So how are you feeling, son?
I feel like a blimp.
What?
I feel like a Monte Carlo. I feel like a Chevy.
See, that's man.
Nigga said,
Like,
how
could
you
you?
feel? I feel like a vampire.
I'd have been like, oh yeah.
Each other. The two went crazy and chased the nurse away when she tried to get more blood from him. Things got too insane and they had to get someone to run a psychiatric evaluation. When the psychiatrist arrived and asked him to take off his glasses,
Nah,
he
his
almost
eyes
ran out
hurt.
screaming. His eyes were orange yellowish and he wasn't wearing any contact lenses. Could he be a real vampire? The nurse recalls feeling as though she was in a nightmare but they couldn't run. After running some tests, they found out that he had
Yes, you
Wilson's
did.
disease. It is a disease
Wilson's
that causes
disease.
excess copper deposits in the eyes, creating the orange color change and pale vampire appearing skin. Yikes. What would you do if you found out your husband was having an affair with your best friend on your wedding night? 4. Crazy
What?
bridesmaid. A maid of honor who was drunk in love was rushed to the ER after
Drunk
she
in
started
love.
choking on her own vomit. Apparently, she had been in love with her best friend's groom and she had wanted to get married to him instead. She had caused a scene at the wedding by professing her love for the groom at the rather large reception. In an act of rebellion or to get attention, she chugged a whole bottle of whiskey in the middle of the dance floor. She literally started vomiting all over the hospital floor when her
bet
body
she
started
did.
absorbing the vomit into her lungs, making this theatrical scene an emergency. The rest of the bridal party came in to check if Brielle was okay. Once she was out of risk, they started partying and popping champagne in the waiting area until they were stopped. Shortly after, the bride storms in. Apparently, her new husband had left her in the reception and had gone to look after the maid of honor in the hospital. Things didn't end well as she stormed off,
What?
throwing the ring at him. What a wedding. Number 1 on our list happens to be one of the most shocking stories in history. 3. Miracle Baby. In the middle of the night at about 2 o'clock a.m., Caitlin started cramping really bad. At about 5 a.m.,
We
the pain
all
got
heard
really
about
bad,
this shit
but
before.
still wouldn't allow her
How
husband
you
to take her
don't
to the
know she was
hospital. Her
pregnant?
husband
Yeah.
left for work,
I
leaving her
didn't know I
alone
was
at home. The pain got even worse. She decided to take a bath, and that is when she got the urge to push. She thought her body was pushing out her organs, and that is when she gave birth to Jason Grant Jr.
Nah,
All this
bitch.
time, she had been
Nah.
pregnant.
I need a
but
DNA
because
test
she was still
ASAP.
getting her regular period, it hadn't occurred to her that this was even possible. She was rushed to the hospital, and her and the baby were completely fine. Thanks for watching, and have an excellent
How
day.
fat you gotta be to not know you
You're
pregnant?
so stupid. So as far as to your question, that's what I always used to think because I used to love the show. I didn't know I was pregnant. If you don't know what that is, it's
We got the gist of it from the title.
women who don't know they pregnant. They show up to the hospital and be like, "Oh my God, I can't be pregnant. It's time for me to push. What you mean?" Or they'll like have the freaking baby on a toilet or in a bath like she did. So you said, how fat do you have to be to not know you're pregnant? Like, seriously. Because I've always been so thin, I'm like, there's no way on earth I wouldn't know I'm pregnant. But the amount of time I spent watching that show, not all of these women are, to be honest, not even most of them are fat. Like they're regular, like average size women, and then knowing that,
So
now
if they not fat, they delusional. That's what you're saying?
well, depending on how the baby is positioned, like you're not all like some women don't feel as many kicks, and sometimes when they feel kicks, they just think it's gas or something.
What about the stomach getting bigger?
Not okay. See, and that's what I had always thought. But not every pregnant woman's belly get that big.
I didn't say that big. I said bigger.
Maybe they just thought they gained. Like one girl I remember, she said she thought she just gained the freshman 15. She was a new college student, and she was like, because her belly wasn't huge, she just gained a few pounds. And
Niggas be gassing, man. Let's be honest, man. They be gassing. I don't believe it.
It
I
is
don't
so
believe it.
possible. Now, do I think I would ever be one of them? No. Like,
I didn't say it wasn't possible. I said niggas be gassing. I say 9 times out of 10 they lying. 9 times out of 10, they lying.
Why would they make it up?
Why wouldn't they? I'm a fucking freshman in college. I get pregnant. I'm gonna tell people I ain't even know I was pregnant. This baby just came out of nowhere. It was from Jesus.
Oh my god!
It's always something, man.
Look at the chick in the back.
I don't want to look at that shit. That's how Star look when she wake up. I think that was a dope video. I think I'm a vampire now. And I also think I'm dead. I don't need food.
I don't need food or water. I'm already dead.
Close your eyes. It's been Keith versus Star. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and share the video if you would like. We out.